Number 10. Lisa Frankenstein. It is a 2024 comedy horror film directed by Zelda Williams. The story begins in 1989 with Lisa, a single senior in high school, who becomes resentful of her situation after her father remarries and moves in with her new spouse. In the meantime, Lisa struggles to adjust to her new environment and seeks refuge in the tranquil shelter of the nearby graveyard, where she is particularly drawn to a young man's Victorian-era tomb site. However, when thunder hits the young man's tomb, resurrecting his body in a strange manner, Lisa decides to maintain her new zombie love concealed from the public and retrieve the body's missing parts to protect his life. The movie's visuals, which are primarily vibrant pink and blue, manage to convey the mood of the late 1980s, and the costumes look amazing, with each character's outfit wonderfully capturing their individual personality. Overall, the film is delightfully funny, with a humorous narrative centered on Lisa's need for body parts and her impulsive desire for romance. However, the unexplained mystery surrounding Lisa's leaves a void in an overall excellent film. 9. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. It is a 2024 monster action-adventure film directed by Adam Wingard. The film is a follow-up to Godzilla vs. Kong 2021, and opens with Kong having fun in the Hollow Earth, while Godzilla stays on Earth. The battle tightens the threatened Earth space, but when Kong discovers more of his kind in the Hollow Earth, controlled by the creature known as Scar King, who possesses a frost-breathing titan known as Shimo, he has compelled the team up with Godzilla to prevent Scar King and Shimo from destroying the surface. The movie delves deeply into the secrets of Skull Island and what lies beyond, and it provides us with some more details about Hollow Earth's history. Honestly, this movie seems more like a fan service, and by the halfway point, it becomes obvious that this is a one-sided fight. Scar King feels more like a scared creature than the powerful beast he should have been if he were going to take on Godzilla. While the story is straightforward and occasionally average, MonsterVerse fans will enjoy Godzilla and Kong's huge fights, which are the best parts of the film. But in terms of entertainment, the movie lived up to expectations and became another box office success. 8. Damn Sold. It is a 2024 dark fantasy film directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo. This is no Lord of the Rings kind of fantasy, but it's still entertaining enough to be watched. The central character is Elodie, a young lady from a poor village who agrees to a far-off kingdom prince's wedding offer. But when she arrives at the palace, she meets the king and wakes up in the dark cave, where she soon realizes that she is being exploited to fulfill a royal family's historic debts to the dangerous dragon. And now she must flee while avoiding attacks from the dragon, which has begun stalking her. Like many princess stories, the film tackles themes of dissection and redemption, but it becomes more of a survival narrative than an entirely fantasy, which still manages to include some really exciting sequences, especially when Elodie has to confront a dangerous dragon and the silence of a cave. Although there aren't many dialogues, the Millie performance steals the show, and the dragon's appearance is fantastic. However, the film's premise is essentially generic, relying on worn-out plot elements and cliched character journeys. Number 7. The Beekeeper. It is a 2024 action thriller film directed by David Ayer. Jason Statham is one of the top action movie stars, and The Beekeeper adds to his already impressive record. The story begins with landowner Eloise Parker, who kills herself after falling victim to cybercriminals and losing $2 million per tenant. Beekeeper Adam Play was shocked to hear of Eloise's passing, and vowed to exact revenge on the con artist by embarking on an energetic and daring adventure to track them down. But here's the thing. Adam is not just any beekeeper. He used to be a part of a lethal covert group called the Beekeepers, whose mission is to use whatever means necessary to preserve country peace. When it comes to action movies, John Wick sets the standard so high that it will be challenging for any movies released in the future to match it. Despite not being as good as Baba Yaga's Revenge, this movie stays interesting from beginning to end, thanks to its straightforward yet satisfying B-idea. Additionally, the movie did well at the box office, earning over $150 million globally. So if you're looking for a new good action flick, you've found one. Number 6. Land of Bad. It is a 2024 war action film directed by William Eubank. The story focuses on Sergeant J. Kinney, who, after being enlisted by a military special operations squad, finds himself involved in a crucial assignment. His squad is tasked with retrieving abducted colleagues from the claws of regional militants, while Kinney's skill becomes critical when the team is ambushed, leaving Kinney and Army drone operator Captain Eddie Grimm has their best chance for their lives. The film deftly strikes a balance between paying homage to vintage war movies and conveying the brutality of contemporary warfare. Its portrayal of military aspects is outstanding, and the drama captivates with a strong sense of reality, engaging audiences in the brutal fight for survival. Every scenario has severe dangers and objectives, which keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. The film does not shy away from presenting the vivid and unvarnished realities of combat, from gory sequences to intense gunfights, seeing these events play out as both intriguing and heartbreaking for the audience. At number 5, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. It is a 2024 supernatural comedy film directed by Gil Kinnan. This is the follow-up to Ghostbusters Afterlife 2021. It takes place 3 years after the conclusion of Afterlife and centers on the Spengler family, who reunite at the famous New York City firehouse to join forces with the very first Ghostbusters, who have established a classified investigation to continue looking into paranormal activity. The story starts when an evil power is unleashed by the discovery of a historical artifact, and both new and original Ghostbusters must band together to defend their planet and prevent another ice period. The movie lacks creativity, yet makes nostalgic references with the impending doom of the fall of New York. The plot echoes previous movies and introduces a new demon named Garaka, but the plot lacks emotional depth, especially in Phoebe's story, while balancing several character storylines. Even with some entertaining cameos, Ivan Reitman's absence is felt, making this contribution to the series enjoyable but unsatisfying at the same time. Number 4. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It is a 2024 spy action comedy film directed by Guy Ritchie. The movie takes place in 1939 and is influenced by genuine events disclosed in British War Ministry papers. The movie tells the tale of Operation Postmaster, in which the British Armed Services enlisted an elite unit of combatants to launch an attack on German forces hidden behind the opposing lines in World War II. Comprising a diverse group of outlaws in their adventure. This top-secret combat organization undertakes a hazardous assignment, fighting the Nazis by employing completely unorthodox methods of warfare. Their bold strategy altered the direction of the conflict and established the groundwork for both modern Black Ops and the British SAS. Although the film's pacing occasionally lacks, and its plot may seem cliché, its unrestricted action and presentation of the Nazi rebellion managed to keep viewers interested. And whenever more power is required, Alan Rickson's personality provides it. In general, the movie tells an engaging and somewhat real story with style and strength, and it does it with a lively and aggressive interpretation of World War II. Number 3. Monkey Man. It is a 2024 action thriller film directed by Dev Patel. The narrative centers on a man named Kid who participates in an underground combat arena, wearing a gorilla mask meanwhile. His employer mistreats him and only pays him when he bleeds. A Kid, on the other hand, has a menacing grudge and gloomy recollections of childhood tragedy. When he learns about crime boss Queenie, he conjures up a sophisticated plan to enter her circle of power and exact punishment on the men who stole everything from him. The motives for his revenge lie in its backstory, which you will know as you see the film. The film honors traditional action movies like John Wick, but it stands out for its daring camera technique, choosing extreme shots that heighten the emotional intensity of the story. The use of mythology gives the story of the hero more depth, while the training sequences and battle with a cult member at the end are especially thrilling. The action scenes are both aesthetically and narratively impressive, but the film suffers from pacing flaws and weak secondary characters. However, overall, Patel's first feature film as director turns out to be very satisfying. And number 2, The Promised Land. It is a 2024 historical drama film directed by Nicola Jarcel. The narrative takes place in the 1700s, when Danish King Frederick V commanded the control and cultivation of Jutlands and touched grassland to develop society and raise royal revenues. However, due to the order, dread of the heath's dangers, which include wolves and difficult terrain, no one is willing to travel there. However, soon after, a desperate soldier named Ludwig Column shows up on the Jutland to follow the king's orders and develop the territory for glory. Unfortunate, but Frederick Deschenkel, an evil landowner who thinks he owns the heath, quickly takes a dislike to him. Following his wife and Barbara's escape and sanctuary with Colin Deschenkel, makes a determined effort to push Holland back and wreak vengeance. The narrative shifts from being a majestic story about countryside survival to a narrative that is passionate, raw, and driven by political belief. The story is remarkably broad and scale-deep in historical information, and cruel in its portrayal of how evil men would go to any length to maintain power, with another strong performance from Mads Mikkelsen. This film should appeal to anyone who misses historical epic dramas. Number 1. Dune, Part 2. It is a 2024 epic science fiction film directed by Denis Villeneuve. The story begins shortly after the first movie ends, with Paul meeting the Freeman people after House Harkonnen murdered his father and his army deliberately overnight through trickery and treason in order to seize control of planet Arrakis. Initially hesitant, Freeman accepts Paul and his mother into the Freeman community and teaches them their methods of living and fighting, while Paul delves deeper into the truth about his bizarre vision and the people who name him their savior. In addition to realizing his actual mission, Paul rallies an immense Freeman army against Harkonnen, who are getting ready to invade Freeman to establish their dominance over spice, the planet's most valuable resource. Dune received highly positive reviews upon its release, owing to its stunning visuals, thrilling action, and outstanding direction. With a box office total of over $500 million, the movie was more successful than the first and cleared the path for the follow-up, Dune Messiah of All Things Considered. This is the kind of movie that you won't see very frequently. It's a big screen epic that surpasses all expectations when it comes to filmmaking. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. And do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestions.